Part two, lonely at the top. You've heard the phrase, it's lonely at the top. Well, it turns out that it's also quite true. 32% of senior managers are often or always lonely, which is nearly twice the average. And they are also more likely to feel that their colleagues are like strangers, say the British Red Cross. In my experience too, leadership is a lonely place. I remember when I took over the running of Safe New Futures in September 2015, the organisation had made a loss the previous year, 54,000 on an income of 130,000. The youth team had been let go. At least 2 people had left with stress, including the accountant, prior to my joining. The 2 people that were still in the organisation were fabulous trainers, but with very little concept of what was required to run a healthy business. It was scary calling an extraordinary general meeting for the trustees to explain that we didn't have a viable business model or funding for back office costs and infrastructure. The burden on what to do about it felt heavy for me. Should I close the charity or work my socks off to see what could be done to keep offering our absolutely life-transforming programs? Working my socks off also meant making cutbacks and other people having to work more accountably and harder than they had before. It was difficult being seen as the one who was being harsh and making everyone's life difficult when all I wanted to do was save the charity. When the inevitable happened and those 2 people left, we had to start from scratch with new staff and also find new funders as local statutory funding in our sector had ended. And it was hard taking higher risks applying for bigger funding bids instead of going for the smaller safe ones of developing, for example, new 3-day courses just to get work, or approaching a large corporate for a workplace program, which we did actually design and deliver to their very exacting specifications in the end. But then, just as we turned a corner and work and funding had started flowing, we lost our pro bono officers. There was no surplus cash to rent training rooms or offices, and so everyone had to work from home long before the pandemic had even hit our shores. Eventually, though, there were the rewards. There was more funding, there were more courses being run, more staff, new officers, and a whole world opened to us. And then it closed abruptly with the worldwide pandemic. We just started building a friendly and supportive work team, and suddenly there we were, confined to our barracks, to the isolation of our 16 square meter office or bedroom. And then there was my lonely place as well, again, of making unpopular decisions not to furlough, change the whole model of the way we delivered our courses to apply for completely different sorts of funding against everyone else's better judgment. And I had to face opposition from everyone that it couldn't be done or that it was unfair for staff and dangerous even for our clients. It's lonely when those above you and those you are responsible for don't understand what you're trying to do. And so, feeling misunderstood and unfairly criticized and absorbing other people's anger without anyone to listen to or support you, to use that well-worn phrase, is a bit like being between a rock and a hard place. It feels cold and unyielding, and a little bit like being caught in a trap. And at the same time, as managers, we've got to find the energy and the conviction and the resources from somewhere deep within to keep believing, to keep moving forward, and to motivate and bring everyone else with us. We can't allow ourselves, even for a minute really, to think it can't or won't happen. And we have to hold on to that hope that it always seems impossible until it's done. So thank you for listening, but do keep listening as we continue to explore this issue of loneliness in the workplace and how we can combat it.